Um, so today, the Friends of To'hajiilee is here to denounce Western Albuquerque Land Holdings demands for $2 million in CARES Act funding from the Navajo Nation. We are deeply offended that WALH expects Navajo families to fund WALH's private multi-million-dollar Santolina development off the backs of Navajo families. It's incomprehensible that WALH chooses to hold this water hostage away from the community, especially during the coronavirus pandemic. It's time for the Friends of WALH. The Friends of To'hajiilee have decided it's time to organize against WALH's unfair and outrageous demands for money.
Yaat a she ata Chavez yinishe bit atni nishle kis ani bashachi nakai dene edasache kis ani dashanele guate hopa ik ani al giwa misuta. I am Atadon Chavez, Bitutni, born for Giwa Pueblo. I am the executive director of NAVA Education Project and NM Native Vote. During this period of COVID-19, as so many of our communities are struggling with the Department of Health's recommendation to consistently wash hands to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, Western Albuquerque Land Holdings has denied the Native families of To'hajiilee chapter clean drinking water for the last 2 years. They continue to stall the process by holding stakeholder meetings when they really should just settle the county's offer, and To'hajiilee residents would be able to get the clean water that they so deserve. This community resides less than 27 miles east of Albuquerque, yet they do not have access to clean water. WALH is standing in the way of bringing this clean water to this 2,000 member Navajo community. If we believe that water is life, then we must as a community do everything we can to help our neighbors in To'hajiilee. Western Albuquerque Land Holdings needs to meet with To'hajiilee and move forward. They need to come to the table and allow this project that costs nothing to them to move forward. WALH is exploiting this indigenous nation for profit or political gain, and attempting to steal CARES Act funds that are actually meant to help tribal communities that have been so heavily impacted by the coronavirus. We have enough people and political leaders in this state to pressure WALH to move forward with the condemnation of the easement of land to build this transmission line to the well. Oftentimes, tribes are asked to or pressured into giving up their easements for free or for pennies on the dollar on a number of projects. And we need to do this for To'hajiilee. This easement is on indigenous land. I want to remind everyone that we need to pay attention to the policy decisions that our leaders make. We are stronger when we work together. We are here to support you. There's absolutely no reason that so many of our relatives and communities do not have clean water. This is an easy fix. And NAVA Education Project is proud to join the Friends of To'hajiilee Coalition to ensure that our Diné relatives get the access to clean water that is at its core a basic human right.
Good morning. My name is Julia Bernal. I am the Alliance Director for Pueblo Action Alliance, and I am from the Pueblo of Sandia. We have been humbled to accept the invitation to be a part of the Friends of To'hajiilee Coalition, as it is very central to our organization in being in solidarity with other Indigenous communities on issues that are most important to us. We stand with the Diné community of To'hajiilee as they continue to fight to access their water. And with that, we also denounce Western Albuquerque Land Holdings, LLC, as they continue to put profit and development over basic human rights to water. I believe it's important for folks to know that water infrastructure in the Southwest is especially bad and at times non-existent to Indigenous communities due to many unsettled Indian water claims, and also like situations like this where developers are halting infrastructure which infringe on Indigenous water rights. WALH, they are also the developers for the Santolina development project in Western Albuquerque. And they were offered to sell their easement land, which was appraised for $30,000, and are asking for $2 million of CARES Act money from Navajo Nation. Mind you, the other two landowners agreed to sell their easement for their appraised value, but WALH isn't. We need to say no to corporate greed on the backs of children and families of the To'hajiilee community. Navajo Nation, they have full right to their water, and they need to access that water from the utility. Yet WALH again is demanding $2 million of CARES Act money. This is COVID relief money. So this is another example of how Indigenous communities are being taken advantage of during a global pandemic. So again, Pueblo Action Alliance, we are in solidarity with To'hajiilee chapter, and are proud to be a part of this coalition to address this water crisis in To'hajiilee.
Mariuweka. I'm Laura Harris. I'm a citizen of the Comanche Nation and Executive Director of Americans for Indian Opportunity. We're a 50-year-old advocacy organization that brings with us an international network of more than 350 Indigenous leaders around the world. We're also a part of the Native Voice Network, an online community of Indian organizations around the country. And we represent the Native Leadership Collective of Albuquerque, 21 Native-led organizations and Indian-owned businesses that are headquartered here in Albuquerque. We overwhelmingly stand in support of our relatives in To'hajiilee in their struggle to obtain clean drinking water. While the rest of the world has come to the aid of the Navajo Nation, the Western Albuquerque Land Holdings, which according to the Albuquerque Journal is managed by Barclays Bank of London, is holding this community hostage. This is a humanitarian crisis. It is a human right to have access to water, and we're not going to stand for this greedy corporation to stand in the way of this community, our relatives getting water. We're going to research Barclays Bank of London's social responsibility policies. We're going to make sure that the people, investors and people do business with Barclays, understand that they're managing this company that is keeping a Native American community of 2,000 people, keeping them from access to clean drinking water in the middle of a global pandemic. We're going to urge our elected officials to support To'hajiilee, and we're going to get justice for this small community. Thank you for being here.
Hi, my name is Eric Griego. I'm the state director for the New Mexico Working Families Party. We are proud to stand in solidarity with our Native brothers and sisters and the people of To'hajiilee to be part of Friends of To'hajiilee. We're one of the many non-Native groups that's supporting this effort as members of this community to provide basic justice and water to our neighbors in To'hajiilee. All I would like to add to what's already been said is that this is not merely a tribal issue, and this is merely not an issue between the developer, in this case, the landowner, and the To'hajiilee people and the Navajo Nation. It's really, it does include the federal CARES money that was hard fought from our federal delegation. So they are clearly important leaders and voices in this conversation, and we appreciate them weighing in on behalf of the people of To'hajiilee. Our state leaders, in this case, we have a state official who's involved in mediating, and we strongly urge him to do right by the people of To'hajiilee and to not err on the side of supporting a for-profit developer that is, in the opinion of many of us, extorting the Navajo people for a price. As we speak, we understand negotiations are underway. A fair price has been accepted by all the other two landholders for this easement. Unfortunately, it appears from what we are hearing that the negotiators for Western Albuquerque Land Holdings are attempting to extort a price that's exorbitant for this small, very small tract of land that is so vital for providing water access to the people of To'hajiilee. So we urge our state leaders, our federal delegation, and our county commissioners who have been trying to condemn this property just to simply get a fair settlement for the people of To'hajiilee. We encourage all of our elected officials to reject the pressure, including the financial pressure they're getting from WALH. We understand that lobbyists for WALH and the corporation and owners have contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars to county, state campaigns. And we fully expect our elected officials to do the right thing and to not be swayed by such contributions or such political and financial pressure. So as a citizen and as a voter here in Bernalillo County, we strongly urge Western Area Land Holdings to do the right thing, to end the extortion, to sit at the table with the Navajo people and to get them the water that they deserve as a human right, as others have said.
Alita?
Hello, everybody. I'm from the Pueblos of Acoma and Laguna. I am also the chair of the Native American Democratic Caucus of New Mexico. Our membership voted in support to be a part of the Friends of To'hajiilee, in support of their efforts to bring clean water to our Dene brothers and sisters. We find it disturbing that a private corporation would take advantage of a small community by denying them the capabilities to provide clean water to their communities, especially during this pandemic. We are in support. We will do whatever we can. Our membership will do whatever we can to be supportive, to provide whatever we can do in terms of making calls, to support whatever we can do to get our brothers and sisters the clean water that their community needs. As we always say, water is life, and especially in a community like New Mexico, water is precious to us, and we need it for our communities. I thank you. Tawa'e. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
So I'd like to thank everyone for participating today. I do want to remind everyone that we are calling on all of our elected leaders to join in support of us and to make sure that those who are participating in the current stakeholder process, and I'm speaking specifically about Senator Ivy Soto, we need to know what his role is in this whole issue. We want to make sure that he can define his relationship to WALH with regards to this issue, because as we've already said, the stakeholder process is a stalling tactic, and To'hajiilee needs water right now. We do not need the senator to, he should not be helping to block the water from going to To'hajiilee community. So I think we are also just asking that people understand that WALH is blocking water from our communities, and we need everyone to support To'hajiilee in our efforts. And so again, we thank you for joining us today. Thank you.